Well, hey out there, YouTube. How we doing today? Well, I promised you I was going to bring it to the channel. It's here. Fear, Trump in the White House by Bob Woodward. So stay tuned right after we roll that little intro like we usually do. Because, man, you might want to sit down, pop some popcorn, and get a drink or something, because we got a lot to talk about. So here we go. There we go. Okay, camera's acting a little wonky today, guys. Sorry. So, I promised you a little while ago that, especially after the Omarosa book that we brought to the channel, and if you're curious what I'm talking about, I'm going to have a link somewhere up top here to all the book reviews that I've done. I promised you during that, when I caught wind of this, that I would bring it to the channel. Now, I will say point blank, I got to give Woodward and Bernstein credit a very long time ago. Basically because of their reporting, they took down a president. You know, Nixon, Watergate. For those of you too young to understand what I'm talking about, go Google Watergate. You'll figure it out real quick. I saw the reports of this on the news, and I expected this book to be just bombshell after bombshell after bombshell after bombshell and blowing the president out of the water. It's kind of a mix of a what in the fuck and a oh please. But I have to say it like this. During this review, I am not going to read this entire book to you. Okay? These sections that you see right here, these little things that are marked by a little piece of paper, there's something on there during this book that made me go, what in the F? It's only about, if you take away the acknowledgments and everything else, 357 pages. I read it in about a day and a half. I did about 220 one day and the rest the very next day. And that's with stopping and underlining shit and, you know, going back and taking a look. I will state for the record, I have nothing but respect for Bob Woodward. Carl Bernstein's a little bit different because his ass was all over CNN and he sounds and looks like a shell of his former self. That's my opinion. My opinion was based solely on the information that was in this book. I didn't let any single thing outside it influence me on this book. And I will say, as I'm doing this review, I've got my TV going right over there off screen, and it's saying, you know, Rod Rosenstein, the false report, Rosenstein discussing the 25th Amendment. Part of that's in the book. How Trump's staff was plotting behind his back. I will say, when you read this book, if you're a Trump supporter, it's going to enrage you. If you're a Trump hater, you're going to love everything in this book no matter what. And if you're on the fence, it's not going to swing you either way. Now, I will say with reading this book, as I have with other books, if you believe one thing in here is true, you kind of have to believe them all, because you kind of can't cherry pick whatever you want to believe and go, well, this makes sense, no, that doesn't make sense, no, this makes sense, no, that doesn't make sense. From my understanding, and especially with reading this, he was investigating this stuff for a very, very, very long time. And as he puts it, he has tape recordings, he has interviews, you know, he has stuff he grabbed from press clippings. He has multiple sources that he based everything in here on. Now, with all that being said, I know you guys are like, shut up, let's get to it. But real quickly, which I thought was cool, and other books really didn't have it, that much is color photos. And what really surprised me, he's got one of Rocket Man in there. And yes, I'm saying that nickname. I served on the Korean Peninsula for a year, and I don't like this guy, I don't like his family, I don't like his lineage, and I don't like what he's done to North Korea. And even the Korean Peninsula as a whole. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But, you know, that's just me. I will say it's got a manufactured suggested retail price of about 30 bucks. I think I found it cheaper on Barnes & Noble's, because honestly, I couldn't find it on Amazon when I went looking for it. There was a humongous back order. When I went looking for it its first week at Walmart, it was totally sold out. Day of filming this video is September 21st. I saw it at my local Walmart today, which made me chuckle. and I think it had a sticker price of about 20 bucks. All right, so without any further ado, let's get into this, okay? Even in the preface, I've got stuff underlined, and just to let you know, if you can see that, that's the sections that I grab and I'm reading to you. So I'm not cherry picking things out of here because do you really need to know about the time it's going to take to detect the launch and have a response and do everything else? No. Okay? But this is what gets me. And this is a part that just lit me on fire. So, President was looking at getting out of an agreement with South Korea. It's called the Chorus Trade Agreement. Go look it up. I'm not going to blow it all out for you. All right? It says right here in the first section I grabbed on preface, page number 18. There was a letter dated September 5th, 2017. A potential trigger to a national security catastrophe. Cohn was worried Trump would sign the letter if he saw it. Cohn removed the letter draft from the Resolute desk and placed it in a blue folder marked Keep. I stole it off his desk, he told an associate. I wouldn't let him see it. He's never going to see that document. Got to protect the country. There's a problem right there. Massive, massive problem. And it follows it up with Cohn and Porter worked together to derail what they believe were Trump's most impulsive and dangerous orders. That document and others like it just disappeared. When Trump had a draft on his desk to proofread, Cohn at times would just yank it, and the president would forget about it. But if it was on his desk, he'd sign it. It's not what we did for the country, Cohn said privately. It's what we saved him from doing. And no less than an administrative, and I said this while reading it, I'm glad Woodward put it in here, it's administrative coup d'etat in undermining the will of the President of the United States and his constitutional authority. These guys were not elected. These guys were given a job. It is not their position to determine what the President signs. They put it right in front of them and go, here you go, Mr. President. If the President wants to make an order at Arby's for 10 billion, roast beef sandwiches, he's got the power to do that. It's not up to his body man or his personal secretary to go, well, let's just drop that down and move this to the side. On page 22 of the preface, reality was that the United States in 2017 was tethered to the words and actions of an emotionally overwrought, mercurial, and unpredictable leader. Members of his staff joined to purposely block some of what they believe are the president's most dangerous impulses. It was a nervous breakdown of the executive power of the most powerful country of the world. What follows is that story. I'll get to that in a moment. But Woodward, I guess, got a copy of the memo that Cohn pulled off the desk and he put it in his book. I get why Trump's going insane just by those 3 little paragraphs alone. Put aside what you know of the man. If I've got something in my refrigerator that I think is there and I'm going, okay, I know I have a 24-pack sitting in my fridge. I want my damn Corona. Where is it? And everyone around me is going, I don't know what you're talking about. If I knew 1 hour ago it was in there and now it's not there, I'd be like Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. So I get that. All right, page 14. So, Trump's talking to Bannon, and he goes, stick around, Trump told Bannon. This thing's so terrible, it's so out of control. This guy's such a loser in regards to Manafort. He's really not running the campaign. I only brought him in to get me through the convention. That tracks with me 100%. Everything I ever heard, Manafort was a scumbag loser, but he knew how to break arms and do whatever he had to do in order to get the delegates to vote how they had to vote. So I get why they brought him in, even though everyone was going, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. He's a freaking loser. And there's another great thing in Corey Lewandowski's book, and if you go way, way, way back to that original link I had up top, Lewandowski's talking about how Manafort took $1 million out of the campaign for some mailers, and there's still $750,000 of that missing. So, yeah. I get why Trump's upset. I get it. Manafort's more wrapped up in Manafort than anything else. And Manafort thought he was above everybody else because I guess there's this great thing right here where Manafort loves referring to Trump as Donald. If I'm working for somebody, I'm not on a first name basis with them. Sir, ma'am, Mr. President. It's called respect. Not, hey, Donald. Just how I was raised. Okay? Then we get over to page 21. And so Bannon's talking to Manafort, and Manafort looks at him and goes, I need you to look at something for me, Manafort said, handing him a copy of a draft story coming in from the New York Times. Headlined, Secret Ledger in Ukraine lists cash for Donald Trump campaign chief. Bannon read, handwritten ledgers show $12.7 million in undisclosed cash payments designated for Mr. Manafort. Manafort wanted to play it off like it was a no big deal. Bannon wanted to tell the president, and Manafort's like, fuck you, shut up. So when Trump got hit with it and got blindsided, I get why he's pissed. I get it. You know, it's like right here. Manafort goes, I'm just a general consultant. I've got guys. Many others work for him in Ukraine. It was all paid to guys. I didn't take 500,000 out of there. That's all lost. It's not laid, it's not laid out in the article. It's you got 12.7 million in cash, okay? That's shady. That's shady as crap to me. So the Russian government is paying this guy 12.7 million and he can't account for it? 12.7 million. It's not like, oh, hey, honey, I went to Plaid Pantry or some little 7-Eleven convenience store and I got me an extra hot dog. That's 12.7 million. So I hope Manafort enjoys his time in jail because he deserves to be there for everything he's done. And he thought he was above the law and he got caught. All right, this is what kills me. On page 27, signs of Russian reconnoitering or digital intrusions, as the National Security Agency called them, first appeared in local state electoral boards' computerized voter registration rolls, lists of voters' names and addresses in the summer of 2015. They first showed up in Illinois, then spread across the country to include 21 states. Interesting, right? But at least, he's putting that in there, and I really appreciate the fact he's touching on it. Okay. So on page 32, I think they're up to the part of the Access Hollywood tape. Yep. And they're saying, Melania came down because they're basically having a big, war council. Melania Trump had come down and wandered behind the sofa where Conway was proposing, they sit. It was clear Melania was pissed. We're not doing that, Melania said in her Slovenian accent, dismissively waving her hand. No way, no. Bannon believed she had the most influence with Trump of anyone, and she could discern who was sucking up and who was telling the truth. Behind the scenes, she's a hammer. I guess everyone was telling Trump, go out there and do the mea culpa, and Melania went, yeah, no. So that to me I found very, very, very interesting. Page 37. And this is the part that the news love to cover, and I'll tell you why in a moment, and I'll tell you how I feel. This is with when Rudy went around and did the full morning shows, apologizing for the president and saying what the president was doing about the Access Hollywood. Rudy, you're a baby, Trump said loudly. I've never seen a worse defense of me in my life. They took your diaper off right there. You're like a little baby that needed to be changed. When are you going to be a man? Now, of course, for me, being prior service Army, I am used to people getting up in my face and saying a whole bunch of, well, by civilian standards, sickening, disgusting words. I get what he's doing. He's trying to motivate him by playing into himself and going, pull your head out of your ass, hit hard, hit back, do whatever. And I get what he's saying because he's attacking him as a man, going, you're not a man, you need to fix this. And that's from the militaristic side of me, not the civilian side of me that needs, a 10,000 hour PowerPoint session on how I need to deal about people's feelings and how I should accurately portray my anger towards people. I get it. Okay, so I get it. On one sense, in the civilian side, yeah, it's disgusting, it's ugly, it's militaristic side, I look at that and go, God damn, that's lame compared to what was said to me in basic training, what was said to me during duty stations, what was said to me during PT tests when I wanted to quit. That's lame. So, take it as you will. As we jump up ahead to, page 44, and I like this. So he's talking about, Clinton. And it says, after Woodward had been in basically he did a motivational speech. And the president's company asked two of his executives who's voting for Hillary. And there was like 4 hands raised. And the other 196 were voting for Trump. And Woodward goes, historians will write in books in the coming years trying to answer the question. That question related to 2016 campaign matters. I was planning on writing a book on the first year or two of the next president. It seemed likely it would be Hillary, but Fort Worth gave me pause. At that point, Woodward thought Trump could win. Interesting to me, just being in a room full of executives, 4 for Hillary, 196 for Trump, and he goes, wow, Trump could do this. Page 51, Trump's talking to Mattis, about becoming, Secretary of Defense. Or Chairman Joint, whatever. Just, I'm tired and, my day's going, hey. But he's talking to Mattis, and Mattis looked directly at Trump. And he says, we need to change what we're doing. It can no longer be a war of attrition. It must be a war of annihilation. And I agree. Because you can't sit there and have a stalemate going on. And I'm sorry, but, when President Obama told the enemy, we're going to send in, 200,000 troops and we're going to pull them out by this point, all the enemy knew was we just have to wait it out. So I like Mattis's thought about we don't need to, okay, you kill 10 of ours, we'll get 1 of yours. You kill 20 of ours, we'll get 1 of yours. Go and root the enemy out and destroy them. I get it. I like it. That's awesome. And that's Mad Dog. All right, page 53. Tom Donilon, the National Security Advisor, answered Mattis. A memo soon referred to as the Donilon Memo directed that under no circumstances would Mattis take any action against Iran for mining international waters unless the mine was effectively dropped in the path of a U.S. warship and presented an imminent danger to the ship. The Donilon Memo was one of the first orders Mattis rescinded when he became Secretary of Defense. Mattis had this great plan in order to help stabilize the region and help do things. Obama removed him because he was counterproductive. That's a huge reason why. So you guys can't do anything in that region until you're in some kind of, problem, some kind of whatever. And now you have Mattis going, we're going to fix this. So that made me happy to read that. Like I said, guys, we got a lot to cover. I don't know how long this is going to go, so forgive me, all right? Page 56. Cohen was astounded at Trump's lack of basic understanding. He tried to explain that if you, the federal government, borrow money through issuing bonds, you're increasing the U.S. deficit. What do you mean, Trump asked. Run the presses, print money. Yeah, so doesn't work that way. And it's nice that at least he had somebody sitting there going, no, you're screwed up, no, you're screwed up, you can't do it this way, don't do it this way, don't do it this way. And I think that's what every president needs, is someone who's going to disagree with them and point out the truth. And this one kind of upset me, and Woodward put it in here. Hope Hicks, 28, the public relations specialist who had been Trump's press secretary during the campaign, was situated in a small 14th-floor conference room in Trump Tower during the transition in early January 2017. She had 2 qualities important to Trump: loyalty and good looks. I get the loyalty, but I don't know. Everyone's going to have their opinion on that. I'd like to know yours, please. Do you think the only reason he held on to Hope Hicks is she's a looker? You tell me. Okay, 71. Later that afternoon, Trump tweeted, "Thank you to Bob Woodward, who said that is a garbage document. It never should have been presented. Trump is right to be upset, parentheses, angry. I was not delighted to appear to have taken sides, but I felt strongly that such a document, even in an abbreviated form, was really garbage and should have been handled differently. The episode played a big role in launching Trump's war with the intelligence world, especially FBI and Comey." And he's talking about, the Christopher Steele document. So, yeah. That's just me, Excuse me, the Christopher Steele dossier. Okay, 84. You know the story in the New York Times? Priebus knew it all too well. McCabe was referring to a recent Times story, February 14th, that stated, "Phone records and intercepted calls show that members of Donald J. Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and other Trump associates had repeated contacts with senior Russian intelligence officials in the year before the elections, according to 4 current and former American officials. The story was one of the first bombs to go off about alleged Trump-Russian connections after Flynn's resignation." McCabe says point blank, "It's total bullshit. It's not true. We want you to know that it's grossly overstated." Now, like I said, this is Woodward. Very accredited journalist. Multiple sources is reporting that. Page 85. 2 hours passed and no call from McCabe. Priebus called him. "I'm sorry, I can't," McCabe said. "There's nothing I can do about it. I tried. But if we start issuing comments on individual stories, we'll be doing statements every 3 days. The FBI could not become a clearinghouse for accuracy of news stories. If the FBI tried to debunk certain stories, a failure to comment could be seen as a confirmation." Andrew, you're the one that came to my office to tell me this is a bullshit story. Now you're telling me there's nothing you can do? McCabe said that's his position. "This is insanity," Priebus said. "What am I supposed to do? Just suffer and bleed out?" So funny. Looks like the FBI was trying to make a deal, and they went backwards on it. That's just how I read that little section. 92. Even with his intense desire to avoid a war, Obama decided the time had come to consider whether the North Korean nuclear threat could be eliminated in a surgical military strike. As he prepared to hand over the presidency, he knew he needed to address the North Korea mess head on. That successor, of course, would almost certainly be Hillary Clinton. He assured his aides in so many words that the American people would do the right thing and elect her. Okay. I put that one in there just for me. Sorry, guys. Okay, 98. One intelligence analyst with vast experience and who had served in South Korea said, "I'm shocked that the Obama administration closed their eyes and acted like a deaf, mute, and blind monkey on this issue. Now I understand why the Obama team said to Trump that the major problem you have is North Korea nukes. They've been hiding the problem." That scares me, to be honest. If that's a true statement, that kind of scares me that our government was hiding North Korean nukes for a very, very long time. Now we're jumping ahead a lot, which is kind of scary, seeing how this book has been going. Page 130. Tillerson went to see the president. "This is one of my core principles," Trump said. "I'm not in favor of this deal, and this is the worst deal we have ever made. So here we are renewing this deal. Since it was only for 90 days, he would go along. This is the last time. Don't come back to me and try to renew this thing again. There's gonna be no more renewals. It's a shitty deal." In regards to the Iranian deal. So, if it was a shit deal, great. If it was just because Obama did it, you take whatever you want to, from there. Now, this one I like, and the way the media played it up, I went, no, I got to bring this out. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer, who was a commander in the Naval Reserves, tried several times to persuade Mattis to appear on Sunday talk shows on behalf of the administration. The answer was always no. "Sean," Mattis finally said, "I've killed people for a living. If you call me again, I'm going to fucking send you to Afghanistan. Are we clear?" Mattis has the power to do it. He has the power to recall him and go play in the sandbox. That was a subtle, direct way from one of your commanding officers, leave me the fuck alone. I think that's perfect with Mattis, and I wonder if he deployed a knife hand while he was talking on the phone. Those of you who have served, you know what I'm talking about. Page 145. During a meeting in Priebus's corner office, Bannon and Ivanka got into an altercation. "You're a goddamn staffer," Bannon finally screamed at Ivanka. "You're nothing but a fucking staffer." She had to work through the chief of staff like everyone else, he said. There needed to be some order. You walk around this place and act like you're in charge. You're not. You're on staff. "I'm not a staffer," she shouted. "I'll never be a staffer. I'm the first daughter." She really accented on that title. "And I'm never going to be a staffer." The rift widened. If you believe Fire and Fury by Michael Wolff, Bannon thought Ivanka and Jared were retards walking the White House. So he backs up another book to me right here. Okay, 146 into 147. So this is during, Al-Assad is using of gas. "Let's fucking kill them," the president said. "Let's go and let's kill the fucking lot of them." The military had the capability to launch a covert, top-secret, leadership airstrike in Syria. Trump sounded personally attacked. Syria had promised not to use chemical weapons. But wait, didn't the Obama administration remove all the chemical weapons? An apparent reference to Syrian President Assad's agreement to destroy all his chemical weapons. "Yes," Mattis said. "You get right on it," and he hung up the phone. "We're not going to do any of that," Mattis told the senior aide. "We're going to be much more measured." Down a little bit further, Obama basked in success. In 2014, he said, "We mark an important achievement in our ongoing effort to counter the spread of weapons of mass destruction by eliminating Syria's declared chemical weapons stockpile." Secretary of State John Kerry went further. "We got 100% of the chemical weapons out." Classified intelligence reports dispute this. In 2016, DNI Clapper said publicly, "Syria has not declared all the elements of its chemical weapons program." Who do we believe? Just asking. Who do we believe? Okay. 152. "Obama," Trump said, "he's a weak dick. He would have never done that. And his failure to do so has cost 400,000 people their lives," Graham said. And that's Lindsey Graham, pointing to the number who died in the entire Syrian war. I know Trump didn't like Obama, but to me it's kind of disrespectful for one president to talk to another that way. That's just me. Okay. Page 158, when Trump wants to get out of NAFTA, Rob Porter was more and more convinced that he would trigger an economic and foreign relations crisis with Canada and Mexico. He went to see Cohn. "I can stop this," Cohn said to Porter. "I'll just take the paper off his desk before I leave." And he later took it. If he's going to sign it, he's going to need another piece of paper. Porter will slow walk that one too. Your president wants to do something and you're actively undermining him. That's called a coup. That's called your resistance. And there's also other words like traitors to the country. Actively undermining your government. You're not the fifth column. Page 163. The plan to stall had backfired. It sped up the process. The Rosenstein memo had nothing to do with the decision, Priebus knew. The president had already made up his mind to fire Comey. Bannon believed 100% that the reason for firing Comey was because the FBI was seeking financial records from Jared. It was pure speculation. Ivanka complained to her father about the FBI. Look, I'm a father. I'll do anything for my girls, but I'm not breaking the law for them. So that's just me. Page 166. "I'm president," Trump said. "I could fire anybody I want," and that is true. Everybody serves at the pleasure of the president. They can't be investigating me for firing Comey, and Comey deserved to be fired. Everybody hated him. He was awful. Guys, I'm not sure if you're aware. During elections, Say, like, the incumbent president wins re-election, every single staff member tenders their resignation because it's technically a brand new administration, and Trump can either take them in this case, or like Reagan or anybody, or like Clinton can take them, or he can refuse them. It's that simple. At any point, he can just pick up his phone and go, "You're fired." Doesn't need to give a reason. You're fired. It's in the Constitution. And this one also had me laughing. 173. Russia, if you're listening, candidate Trump said, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. You'll probably be rewarded mightily by our press. He later tweeted, if Russia or any other country or person has Hillary Clinton's 30,000 illegally deleted emails, perhaps they should share them with the FBI. The next day, of course, he said I'm being sarcastic. Dowd thought the declaration and request to Russia, sarcastic or not, hardly suggested hidden subterfuge to work with Russia. That seemed to be the focus of Mueller's investigation. Investigation. All right, page 175. Trump gave some private advice to a friend who acknowledged some bad behavior towards women. Porter. Real power is fear. It's all about strength. Never show weakness. You've always got to be strong. Don't be bullied. There is no choice. You've got to deny, push back on these women. He said if you admit anything, any culpability, then you're dead. That was a big mistake you made. You didn't come out guns blazing and challenge them. You showed weakness. You've got to be strong. You've got to be aggressive, and you've got to push back hard. You've got to deny anything that's said about you. Never admit. That goes back to what Sean Spicer was saying in his book, and that's like Trump's little commandments there. Deny, fire back, and just be aggressive. Yeah, I don't condone violence towards women, period. I just don't. And Rob Porter got everything he deserved, period. Full stop. Page 195. The president and first lady had separate bedrooms in the residence. Trump had a giant TV going most of the time, alone in his bedroom with the clicker, the TiVo, and his Twitter account. Priebus called the presidential bedroom the devil's workshop, in the early mornings and dangerous Sunday nights, the witching hour. That made me laugh when I read it. It really made me laugh, so I wanted to share it with you. Okay. Page 204. Yeah, Trump said. Forget about the formal organization charts. Trump hated him. Forget about Reince. He's like a little rat. He scurries around. You don't even have to pay attention to him. Just come talk to me. You don't have to go through him. Referring to your chief of staff as a little rat is a bit stupid. Yeah, the man runs all over the White House trying to frickin' take care of the president. That's his job. He's the gatekeeper to the president. He needs to know everything about everything. So when the president wants to know, he's got the info. I don't like how he's referring to him. I really, really don't. Okay. Reince, Kelly said, meaning General Kelly, I never did this to you. I've never been offered this job until the tweet came out. I would have told you. It made no sense Priebus realized unless you understand the way Trump made decisions. The president has zero psychological ability to recognize empathy or pity in any way. It's pretty telling from the guy who had his back all throughout, the election and came to work for him as, his chief of staff. Page 236 on to 237. Months after his departure from the White House, Priebus made a final assessment. He believed he'd been surrounded in the West Wing by high-ranking natural killers with no requirement to produce regular work products. A plan, a speech, the outline of a strategy, a budget, a daily, weekly schedule. They were roving interlopers, a band of chaos creators. There was Ivanka, a charming huntress, dipping in and out of meetings, or the latest presidential business. Jared had the same rights. Theirs was a portfolio without experience. I agree. Kellyanne Conway had or took license to weigh in on television or interviews almost at will, often without coordinating with the communications and press secretary offices that Priebus was supposed to control. Then there was Bannon, who snagged a key West Wing office near the Oval and lined his walls with whiteboards listing Trump's campaign promises. He was a strategist in an operation that had none. He came forward to enter discussions with his fire when the nationalist populist agenda might be at risk or seemingly at random when he needed something to do. I've heard this from multiple books and multiple people about these people. I tend to believe Woodward right here. I seriously, seriously do. Page 244, the suggestion that he admitted doing wrong was unsteady and infuriated the president. That was the biggest fucking mistake I made, the president told Porter. You never make those concessions. You never apologize. I didn't do anything wrong in the first place. Why look weak? And I gotta remember where this was. So forgive me. Oh yeah, this appears to be on the edge of Charlottesville, where he really, in my opinion, screwed up. .251. On the way out of the Oval Office, General Kelly, who had heard it all, because Conan, people are getting into a fight. Yeah. Just, wow. On the way out of the Oval Office, General Kelly, who had heard it all, pulled Conan into the cabinet room. According to notes that Conan made afterwards, Kelly said, "That was the greatest show of self-control I've ever seen. If that was me, I would have taken that resignation letter and shoved it up his ass 6 different times." Just, wow. Kelly, 4-star Marine General. I believe it. Now this one, it's got a bit of a backstory to it. Pompeo had gone through some come-to-Jesus sessions at Langley. The old hands reminded him that Afghanistan was the graveyard, not of empires, but of careers. There's a very popular thing, okay? Alexander the Great took over the world in like 3 days, but he could never beat Afghanistan. All right, his mom wrote him a letter and said, "What the fuck, son? Why are you still there?" Alexander sent some tubs of Afghanistan dirt home and said, "Hey, sprinkle these around the palace. Put it in a big circle around the palace." So his mom did. And there's a great story of 2 servants. One accidentally bumped into each other. They were trying to apologize. Then it turned angry. Then it turned, hostile. Then swords were drawn, and they both killed each other. Alexander's mom got it. In Afghanistan, everything is trying to kill you. The dirt, the air, the birds, the dogs, the people, the weather. Everything is trying to kill you. Afghanistan is seriously known as the graveyard of empires. So, yeah. It's kind of why we're still there, in my opinion. There's another great saying in Afghanistan. You may have the time, you may have the clocks, but we have the time. Page 271. On several occasions, Trump asked Porter if he was interested in being White House counsel. Porter declined. When Trump's personal attorney came to talk about matters relating to Special Counsel Mueller, Trump at times asked Porter to join in. "Rob, I want you to stay. You've got to be a part of this." "I'm not your lawyer," Rob Porter said. "I'm not acting as a lawyer, but even if I was, I'd be a government lawyer, not one of your personal lawyers, and that would break attorney-client privilege. And so I can't be here." No, Trump said. "That doesn't matter. It would take one of Trump's personal lawyers like John Dowd going, 'Rob, gotta go.'" So, yeah. Wow. And here's another thing with Trump, and it goes back to his standards, which I don't agree with, but, it's that whole need to show power, need to show strength. 273, whenever either one of them would challenge Trump's conviction on the importance of trade deficits and the need to impose tariffs, Trump was immovable. "I know I'm right," he said. "If you disagree with me, you're wrong." Yeah, I don't agree with that. Okay, General Kelly and Chris Crane, the head of ICE, had an intense dislike for each other. When Kelly had been Secretary of Homeland Security, he'd blocked ICE agents from having a hardline crackdown on some immigration violations. Trump invited Crane to the Oval Office without informing Kelly. "Kelly cut off all our access," Crane said. "We put ourselves on the line for you. We endorsed you. We supported all your policies. Now we can't even communicate with you." Kelly heard Crane was in the Oval Office and strode in. Soon, Crane and Kelly were cursing at each other. I can't believe you let some fucking guy like this into the Oval Office, Kelly told Trump. If this is the way it's going to work, then fuck it, I quit. And he stormed out. You know how much balls that takes to say to your commander-in-chief and your president? Much respect for, General Kelly. Much, much respect. And this is something that I think is true everywhere. All right, this goes to a lot of bills and a lot of everything else. Everyone goes, well, why can't they just vote? Why did they turn this down? Everyone focuses on one little part. But on every single bill that goes up, there's all these freaking addendums and amendments and everything else where congressmen and senators love to attach things to. Some of these bills look like a fucking Christmas tree with so many things hanging off them. Cohen found out that getting votes in the Senate was all about giving individual senators their favorite loopholes or tax breaks. It's a candy store. He said Senators Chuck Grassley, John Thune, and Dean Heller were among those who wanted credits for alternative fuel, including windmills. Susan Collins insisted on a deduction for school teachers who bought supplies for their classrooms. She would not vote for a bill if the deduction was not included. Ron Johnson of Wisconsin was concerned about pass-through businesses. McConnell made other promises, including the one to Jeff Flake on immigration. This happens all the time. All the time. So it's not just Trump. It happened with Obama. It happened with Clinton. It happened with the Bushes. It happened with Reagan. That needs to change. It seriously needs to change. I remember when the VA scandal broke and it was a 3-page bill put before the Senate, and Bernie Sanders went, yeah, well, there's not enough time to read it all. 3-page bill. 3-page. Giving people the authority to fire federal employees, which that's hard to do. It's very, very, very hard to fire them. All right, guys, we're almost done, I promise. And kudos for Lindsey Graham for this, page 317. Why would you want me to tell you you're right when I think you're wrong? What good does that do for you or me, Graham asked. Presidents need people that can tell them the truth as they see it. It's up to you to see if I'm full of shit. I agree with that 100%. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. If you think I'm full of crap, you better tell me I'm full of crap. I don't like yes men in my life, and I don't know if my brother's watching this one, but if you're watching, he'll chime in and he'll tell you point blank, I can't stand him. You either tell me to my face exactly what you're thinking or fuck off. Okay, 338 and 339. When Cohen left, well, I should say when he tendered his resignation, Hope Hicks went, Gary's been so great. We're going to miss him so much. This is a shame. We've got to find a way to bring him back. Of course, the president said, we're going to bring him back. It was a false show to the end. Cohen realized that what he had said before to others about the president, he's a professional liar. Over on 339, Trump's action in mounting threats on tariffs were jarring. Cohen thought Trump had to know. But he's not man enough to admit it. He's never been wrong yet. He's 71 and he's never going to admit he's wrong, ever. Okay, page 348. Seriously, we're almost at the end. This is Dowd talking to Mueller. He had a final argument. The perjury trap was what Mueller's team did. And what Mueller's team did, he charged. You did it to Flynn, you did it to Gates, you did it to Papadopoulos. You guys, that's the games you played. Rick Gates, a Manafort business associate and Trump's deputy campaign chairman, had one of the best lawyers sitting next to him, and he still lied. You guys gave him no time to prepare, and now he's got a felony. Bob, that's exactly what I told the president, and that's exactly what they're going to do to you in an interview. And this is what got me. Page 351. What are people going to say? Trump asked. How's it going to look in the press? Mr. President, it's a trap. They don't have a legal or a constitutional reason to talk to you. He mentioned lawyers who had represented Trump in the past. If you don't want to take my word for him, call them. And he did call some of them. So, on the very last page, 357, Dowd was disappointed in Mueller, pulling such a sleight of hand. After 47 years, Dowd knew the game. He knew prosecutors, they built cases. With all the testimony and all the documents, Mueller could, string something together that would look bad. Maybe they had something new and damning, as he now more than half suspected. Maybe some witness like Flynn had changed his testimony. Things like that happen, and that could change the ball game dramatically. Former top aide comes clean, admits to lying, turns on the president. Dowd didn't think so, but he had to worry and consider the possibility. But in the man, his president, but in the man and his presidency, Dowd had seen tragic flaws. In the political back and forth, the evasions, the denials, the tweeting, the obscuring, crying fake news, the indignation, Trump had one overriding problem that Dowd knew and could not bring himself to say to the president. These are the words that Woodward closes the book with. You're a fucking liar. In this book, guys, it brings up a whole bunch of stuff from a whole bunch of different angles. And I give Woodward credit for all the investigative stuff that he did. It must not have been easy, okay? It was a nicer read than the last one that I brought to the channel, how they laid out the case for, clearing Hillary and going after Trump. Trump's his own worst enemy, by what I read in here, okay? His own lawyer even said point blank to Mueller's face in this book, you've got nothing, there's no collusion. So, I can only put it like this. I don't agree with everything the president says. I know he's tried to do incredible things for this country. I don't agree with how he treats some people or some of his tweets. Yeah, I've used some of the stuff like, Rocket Man or Pocahontas or, Lion's Head and all this other stuff. But I also am not stupid to what's going on. I voted for Barack, his first presidency, because I wanted to see something different. By his second term, I turned against Obama just for his actions, not because of the color of his skin. I'll admit there's stuff about Trump in the very beginning that I loved, and that's the president, so I support him being former military. That's my boss. It doesn't mean I gotta love everything he does, but I still respect the office. What I read in here is somebody with no political experience came to Washington, and Washington astute people don't know what to do. So they're used to playing this game, and Trump wants to play this game. They want this, Trump wants this, they have to destroy this. Yeah, there's a lot of things in here that it just makes me go, what the heck? And everyone loves to bring up bankruptcies and everything else. Trump himself didn't go bankrupt. Some of his companies did, not himself. Okay? And he always turned a profit off of every bankruptcy, which made me go, oh, wow. I get his staff is used to certain things. Like, to Mattis, this man must seem like a complete fucking idiot. Mattis used to assign, his commanders, his subordinates a reading list. And he made them go out and learn things and take care of things. I like in there that they, make mention that Mattis wasn't just going to willy-nilly wage war. He was going to be more methodic about it. That's the Mattis I knew. That's the Mattis all his troops love. And that's the Mattis that his men will go to the mat for. Washington has always been corrupt. Washington's always going to be corrupt. But I'm going to, kind of end it like that because I want to know what you guys think. I know this video's gone on for a while. I told you at the beginning it was going to be a while. There's a lot in here, and I hope I covered the best parts for you because I didn't spare anything, and I'm not trying to cover for Trump on anything. All right, guys, I want to know what you think. Seriously, I want to know what you think. Leave your questions, comments, hatred, whatever down below, in the comments section. And I'm going to state this now for those of you who watched this far. If they start turning like the Omarosa ones did, where it's racial and it's all fuck you comments, they're going to go off. Because I want something constructive down there. If I want to fuck you, I'll turn on CNN. Alright? Now, for you first-time viewers, you picked a weird one to start with, guys, and I think you picked a good one. Okay? Thank you so much for giving me part of your day. I know there's lots of videos out there, and I'm very flattered you chose one of mine. Now, for you really cool people who haven't done it yet, there's going to be a symbol popping up either over here or over here. It's going to be the channel logo. Just click on that, man, destroy that thing, and mash that subscribe button for me. After you've done that, destroy the bell icon. Why? It's going to notify you when we upload videos just like this. Because, we do a lot of things on this channel, and, book reviews are just one of them. Now, speaking of videos that you're going to get notified on, there's going to be two popping up either on that side of the screen or that side of the screen. Those are going to be videos that YouTube's going to select from my catalog that they think are going to be a great viewing experience for you. But there we go, guys. My lengthy look at Fear, Trump in the White House by Bob Woodward. Thanks, guys, so much for watching this video, and as always, I hope you have an incredible day today.